Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Alexis Ware. In this week's news, local 4-H kids raise livestock for county fair auctions, House of Providence hosts open house, and seniors enjoy lunch at New Center.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. It appears folks will have to wait another 3 months to find out whether the state will approve or deny Beaumont Health's application to build a hospital in Oxford Township. A decision on the matter was originally due by July, but Lynn Sutphin, Public Information Officer for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, informed us Beaumont requested an extension to their application be moved to September 30th. A new hospital is one of those facilities for which a certificate of need must be obtained from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. According to Mark Geary, Director of External Communications and Media Relations for Beaumont, the health system requested the extension because they need additional time to document and meet all certificate of need requirements for the project.
Motorists who regularly travel West Burdick Street in Oxford Village should take notice. Construction is coming. Resurfacing of the street is expected to most likely begin on July 17th, but the date is not yet set in stone. The work will consist of removing the top 2 inches of road surface and replacing it with new asphalt. The project is expected to take up to a week to complete. One side of West Burdick Street will remain open at all times.
Last month, inspiring words echoed throughout the sanctuary of Emmanuel Congregational United Church of Christ in Oxford Village. Jody Lamachia served as the guest speaker at Emmanuel's open and affirming Sunday service. Emmanuel, a 142-year-old church, is one of more than 1,500 open and affirming churches and ministries in the United Church of Christ that welcomes lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and LGBTQ members. La Machia shared a little bit about herself and her life.
Although it was hot and humid, as they have done since 2009, thousands of folks flocked to the annual Seymour celebration in Seymour Lake Township Park for 3 days of carnival rides, food, and games, live music, and fireworks. What was different this year was the Township Parks and Recreation provided 2 days of fireworks for the crowds to enjoy, sponsored by Meyer one night and Genesis the other. Both nights saw 800 shells light up the sky. So I guess we say that Parks and Recreation Director Ron Davis and staff recorded another successful township event in the books. Thank you to all who participated.
After working for the Oxford School District in one capacity or another for nearly 5 decades, Terry Kelly is literally headed for greener pastures, specifically the 55-acre farm he owns in northern Michigan. Kelly recently retired as head coach of the varsity boys golf team he has been associated with for over 24 years. Kelly finished his coaching career on a high note. The boys team went undefeated in dual matches during the spring season and finished atop the Oakland Activities Association White Division for the 3rd consecutive year. Congratulations.
While many kids are out playing, relaxing, enjoying their summer vacations, Oxford residents Isabel and Oscar Vertanian are busy getting their livestock ready for auction at the Oakland County Fair. For the last 4 years, the siblings have been members of the Oakland County 4-H Livestock Club, a group that teaches youth how to raise, fit, and show a variety of animals, including cows, swine, chickens, sheep, goats, and rabbits. Their father, Scott Vertanian, a 1989 graduate of Oxford High School who leads the club with his wife Katie, said the kids are required to do 80% of the work when it comes to caring for the animals. During the school year, the siblings, who live on 14 acres, devote about 10 hours per week to their animals. That increases to 14 to 18 hours in the summer, especially during the period leading up to the fair. Isabel and Oscar will participate in the fair's small animal auction on July 12th and the large animal auction on July 13th. The fair runs from July 5th to the 14th at Springfield Oaks County Park in Davisburg.
June 29th holds special significance for House of Providence. It was on the date 3 years ago. The nonprofit organization closed on the purchase of 118 acres along Barber Road in Oxford Township. It was on the date 4 days ago that the 6 foster girls under HOP's care moved into their brand new home on the property. To celebrate, House of Providence, HOP, held an open house Friday night, during which supporters, friends, and the home's new residents all gathered to tour the place, eat ice cream, play together, and give thanks. Jason Dunn, who co-founded HOP with his wife Maggie in 2012, said the house and its surroundings offer the girls an atmosphere both therapeutic and calming.
There was a full house June 27th at Oxford Township's new Senior Center in Seymour Lake Park. 86 senior citizens showed up to enjoy lunch provided by Independence Village of Waterstone and learn about the facility built to provide them with a comfortable public space to gather, socialize, and recreate. Don Masady, the recreation specialist who oversees the center, told the crowd it's open to anybody, anytime between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. She noticed the cupboards are filled with books, magazines, puzzles, board games, and card games, all just waiting to be explored.
Well, that was a very interesting story.
Oh yeah, lots going on, even throughout the summer.
Right. You know what? We finally hit summer, and it had to come in July.
Yeah, you know what? And it's halfway over now, like we were talking about earlier. Students are going back to school literally next month, so it's coming quick.
That's unbelievable. You know, because it was so cold in the last couple months, I kept my snow shovel out, you know, just in case.
Yep, a couple of my turtlenecks are still front and center in my closet. Even though it's been warmer, it's still, you know, it's rain here, rain there, so.
What do the turtles say about that?
Well, they're not so happy because I haven't quite worn them, but they're just there just in case we get one of those cold fronts because it is Michigan, so you never know.
Yeah, I would caution, you know, this is the time of season, of course, where kids go swimming, you know, and some of the lakes, of course, are private lakes. Make sure that, you know, you have permission to go in or you have the right wristband or whatever.
Tools, right?
The one thing I want to mention, though, is be safe out there. While you're swimming, don't go into deep water if you're not a skilled swimmer.
Yep. Always be with someone and let at least one person know where you are, especially if you're going to a lake or a pond, whatever it is, by yourself. Yeah.
That's right. And I think a lot of summer picnics, that kind of thing is going to go. How about you? You're going to go on a picnic this summer?
I am hoping to. Lots of camping, hopefully, before the summer ends next month. And I haven't been to a beach yet this summer, but hopefully within a week or two I'll be for the first time.
Well, I think the Mudders probably took up most of your time.
It did.
Competing.
I was just saying, I just canceled my membership. That's probably nothing to brag about, but I just canceled my gym membership. So instead of spending the time I would spend there indoors, I'll be outdoors doing a bunch of other physical activities to keep, you know, my fitness up.
Well, like Alexis, you folks out there enjoy the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Not too much where you get a sunburn or anything, but enjoy.
Or, you know, if you're out for long periods of time, just make sure to cover up with sunscreen.
Good advice.
And that's Oxford News for this week. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up a copy of Oxford Leader, or better yet, you can catch us on our website at occtv.org or on our YouTube channel, and of course your regular cable channel, Spectrum 191 and AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and schooling around, incorporating great topics with none other than Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Alexis Ware. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week.
I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors. And thanks for watching.
If you're interested in sponsoring a show for OCTV, please give us a call at 248-628-9658 and we'll air a promotional video for your local business.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, to call someone a Philistine today is to brand them uncultured. But to the Hebrews in the Christian Bible, it meant something worse. The Philistines were a separate group of people who were often their adversaries. Now, DNA sequencing of 10 Philistine skeletons suggests that they were really a genetically distinct community. Around 1200 BC, in at least one key Philistine city, there was an influx of South European genes, suggesting a surge of Greek immigrants to the region, says Michael Feldman of the Max Planck Institute for Science and Human History in Jena, Germany. The Bible's Old Testament makes numerous references to the Philistines. For instance, Goliath, the giant who fought David, was a Philistine, as probably was Delilah, said to have betrayed Samson by cutting his hair. Multiple excavations from sites of ancient Philistine cities, such as Ashkelon on the west coast of what is now Israel, have yielded pottery remains that are Greek in style. But some argue that people could simply have adapted Aegean cultural practices via sea trading routes. Feldman's team tried to extract DNA from 108 skeletal remains excavated from various burial places in Ashkelon that had been dated to either the Bronze Age or the Iron Age. 10 produced useful genetic information from their bones or teeth, and this was compared with DNA from other populations all over the world, both ancient and modern. The Ashkelon's remains could be divided into 3 time periods. The earliest 3 individuals found in a necropolis came from around 1600 BC. 4 were infants that had been buried under houses around 1200 BC, and 3 more individuals were from a cemetery by the city wall and came from about 1100 BC. The people from the Middle Period had significant ancestry from southern Europe, with 20 to 60% similarity to DNA from ancient skeletons from Crete and Iberia, and that from modern people living in Sardinia, an island off Italy. However, the last group of 3 bodies had no more detectable Greek ancestry than the first group. Probably all these immigrants that came in intermarried with the local population until foreign ancestry, that is, was diluted, says Feldman. Putting the genetic data together with the archaeological data strengthens the case that there was migration from the areas that we now call Greece and Western Turkey, says Christoph Backhuber of the University of Oxford, who was not involved in the work. In our next story, people are much less security savvy with their phones than they think they are. We know that many people compromise their security by doing things like reusing old passwords, but a new study lays bare the gap between how smart we believe we are about fending off information security threats and how good we are in practice. Most efforts to measure individuals' information security awareness, or ISA, around their smartphone use are based on surveys and questionnaires, so tend to be subjective and biased. To provide a more accurate picture, Ron Bitton and his colleagues at Ben Gurion University in the Negev combined questionnaires completed by 162 students at 2 Israeli universities with software installed on their Android phones, plus an analysis of the network traffic to and from the devices. Over 2 months, the volunteers were faced with 4 real-life security challenges. The results? While the software and traffic were a good indicator of how high someone's ISA was, the questionnaire was not. There were big contradictions between what people said and what they did. While 70% of people said they would never provide personal data in pop-ups or on websites, almost 40% entered their details when a pop-up promised the chance to win an iPad. Half of those who said they would never enter a website that displayed a security warning proceeded to do exactly that. More than a third of the students who said they always use a lock screen protection on their phone, such as a PIN code, didn't use any method at all. People have difficulties in quantifying their behavior, says Bitton. Unaware people usually perceive themselves as acting cautiously due to some very rare cautious actions that they performed, where in practice they are acting dangerously most of the time. The students involved could be considered average smartphone users, says Bitton, given that popular apps such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram were installed on more than half of their devices. He says that the first step to making people security conscious with their phone use is in convincing them that they can be a target for attackers and that such an attack would harm them. Bitton says these findings show the importance of not relying solely on surveys and questionnaires to assess our security skills. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
everyone, and welcome back to School News. I'm Alexis Wurr. The summer is certainly flying by, with it already being the month of July, and you all know what that means. School is back in session next month on the 26th, which brings lots of new activities and a whole new class of seniors. But that still is a little ways away. This week, we're still in the summer spirit with camp, summer reading, and wilderness. This week, July 8th until July 12th, the Millbury Hills Golf Club will be holding youth lessons from 6:30 until 7:30. The cost is $110 and $120 for non-Oxford residents. Use the code 3818. They also have a youth golf camp with several selective dates, weekly based, and for youth golfers who are more advanced, they offer a youth golf league. Ages vary in each of the different groups as well as costs. If you would like to find out more information, contact Mulberry Hills Golf Club on Noble Road at 248-628-2808. If you prefer to be on a back of a horse instead of on your feet, you'll be pleased to hear that Times Square Riding Academy on Oakwood Road in Ortonville is holding horseback riding lessons July 8th through July 13th. They're week-long classes with dates to stretch through the summer into October. Pricing is set at $150 and $160 for non-residents. Along with the lessons, they also offer horseback riding camp. The next available date is July 22nd, so be sure to call Paula at 248-431-0940. There's tons of camps and summer lessons to choose from around town. If you're unsure what's being offered near you, stop by your local Parks and Rec offices to pick up an Oxford Township Parks and Recreation magazine. There you can find a long list of summer activities for all ages. In other news, Board of Education meetings are still being held at the board office starting at 6:30. If you missed the last Board of Ed meeting on July 9th, the next one will be held on July 23rd. Everyone is welcome to come out, and select times are set aside for the public to address the board with questions and concerns. But that about wraps up school news for this week. Next up is Cody Wright with School Sports.
What's happening, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's Sports Report. We've had a lot of action this summer here at Seymour Lake Park. It's been especially nice now that we're located here as well. This last week we did have some girls 12 and under softball. Rod Wright and Bill Service made that out to get the coverage. Here's a quick interview.
Let's do some introductions here. Who do I have?
Hi, I'm Evelyn Delata.
Okay, just the first name's good.
I'm Madeline. I'm Sammy.
Well, good. Where are we from? You don't look like you're from Oxford, because I know a lot of kids from Oxford. Where are you from?
Oxford.
How did I not know that? And?
Oxford.
No way.
Oxford.
Really? Are you girls in the middle school? Yeah. I work for the schools. I'd never seen you. That's awesome, though. I'm glad I finally got to meet you. Anyways, how are we doing today? Okay.
Good.
So, what do we think about today? Are we gonna get some hits?
Yes.
All right, where's the best? I asked the other team where the best place for ice cream is. Where's the best place in Oxford for ice cream?
Frosty Boy.
Oh, Frosty Boy. What about the Hawaiian Ice? You ever been there?
Yeah, just once though.
You don't like it?
No, it was good. Yeah.
You like Frosty Boy better?
Yeah.
How about the Yo?
Yeah.
No. Frosty. There we go. Frosty Boy is king. Very good. Well, thanks, girls. And I'll tell you what, I can't believe I haven't seen you before. So good luck. You're gonna get me a hit?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you? You gonna give me a hit? All right. Good job.
I'll try.
Thank you.
It's not a summer week here up at the Baseball Diamonds if we don't cover a senior softball game. These guys are on fire this year, capturing and holding first place now for a few weeks. The guys took on Clarkson, and since they won, they were ready to talk. Check it out.
Good job today. I think you were on base every time you got up, weren't you? Did you make one out?
I did make an out. I think I made 2 outs, but swinging felt good today. Yeah.
And that guy had you. He dead nuts. I'll tell you. He had you're not letting that go and go, are you?
I thought he missed me by 6 inches, but evidently it was more than that. I would have slid, but it wasn't really necessary. So I just went up and just avoided him. And that's the, the tough thing, though. The umpire's vision was obscured or blocked.
Yeah.
Straight on.
From his perspective. Yeah.
It's tough when it's a one-man system. A two-man system would have got that.
Right, that's part of the game.
Yep.
Dave Cunningham, good job today. Good stick. All right, hey guys, don't go away. Let's talk. Come on, John. First place. They always go away. Yeah. So, anyways, you wanted to say something to your grandkids, right?
I forgot last game. I did want to say hello to the grandkids. There's 8 of them.
Uh-oh.
There's Brett and Jess, Taylor and Skylar, Lucy, Ruby, Jack, and Ellie. And just remember this: Grandpa loves you about this much. Okay?
Good job today, man. Good
It's always
job.
good to see you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, come on, John. Good job, man. Great job today.
Thank you, young man. We appreciate it. It was a tough game. They were in first place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
know,
it
it's
was
a tough team. Here they are right now. Good job, guys.
Be able to hit, we might win one of these two or another.
It's okay.
Yeah, what a rivalry, man. This was a good game. It was a pretty even game.
We're pretty even.
Yeah.
We got them where we want them now. They're confident.
You got them confident you're going to get them down. There you go.
Actually, this year is the tightest the league has been. We got 4 teams up there at the top.
Yeah.
So that's the way we like it. So we don't know who's going to win because we're tied at the top with 4 losses now. So that's good.
How about this young man?
Well,
right
he's
here?
a superstar.
Oh, man, what a great day. This is your best defensive game I've seen you play.
Yeah, well, I'm a lot better in left field and left center, so that helps a lot. But we missed a lot of our key players, so we pulled it out. A couple of guys are hurting. So we kindly pulled it out and everything. It's just about working teamwork.
Good job, Jeff.
Teamwork, and that's where it is.
I'll tell you what, that wind blowing out there, it made those plays look even better.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. Like I said, I'm better in left center and left field, but wherever John want to put me, I'll play it. But
I think left field looks good.
yeah. All right. Thanks.
Good job, Wendell. Very good.
I appreciate you guys taking us through.
Absolutely.
It's been a great summer so far. I know we're having a lot of fun, but we're just about out of time. For full coverage of these games, along with our coverage of the Tough Mudders, the 4th of July celebration, and fair and much more, you can go to our YouTube page, which you can access through the website occtv.org. All of our coverage goes back pretty far, and like I said, there is many other programs we put together for the community. You can find all of that right there. Once again, that is occtv.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Volkswagen Group of America is recalling over 663,000 Atlas crossovers and Passat sedans made at its Chattanooga plant to fix a headlight defect. VW spokesman Mark Gillies told Automotive News July 3rd that a horizontal adjuster screw cap may not have been installed on one or both headlights, affecting approximately 116,000 Volkswagen Atlases from the 2018 to 2019 model years and over 547,000 Volkswagen Passats from the 2012 to 20 model years. Incorrectly adjusted headlights may result in reduced visibility for the driver and other motorists, which could increase the risk of a crash, he said. Consequently, federal regulations require the caps to be present. VW has had no reports of accidents or injuries related to the recall. Volkswagen will inspect and, if necessary, install missing horizontal adjustable screw caps at at no charge to customers. The recall and customer notification is expected to begin this month. VW initially submitted a safety recall report to NHTSA on June 6, acknowledging that potentially over 662,000 Passat and Atlas vehicles were affected by the defect. Volkswagen brand's U.S. sales rose 9.6% in June from a year earlier to over 31,700 vehicles. The Touareg, Tiguan, and Atlas crossovers accounted for 53% of the brand's June sales. The fifth consecutive month utilities have outsold cars at VW. Meanwhile, U.S. sales of the Passat fell 79% last month. And over at Dodge, it's rare, if not unprecedented, for an automaker to invest serious cash into vehicles whose bones are old enough to vote, but the Dodge Charger is getting a significant revamp for 2020. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is claiming the new 2020 Charger Hellcat widebody will be the most powerful and fastest mass-produced sedan in the world. FCA said the Hemi-engined Hellcat will reach 60 miles per hour in 3.6 seconds and have a top speed of 196 miles per hour. The car, whose platform is derived from an old Mercedes-Benz that migrated to Dodge during the Daimler Chrysler era, packs a 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 rated at 707 horsepower and 650 pounds-feet of torque. That's the same basic powertrain from the Dodge Challenger Hellcat, also a survivor from the Daimler Chrysler era. A 8-speed automatic transmission is standard. The wide body treatment includes huge fender flares that add 3.5 inches of width and over 20-inch wheels, which are also 11 inches wide. The car also gets new front and rear fascias. The wide body appearance package also will be available on the lower powered Charger, the Scat Pack model. Dodge engineers added 6-piston Brembo brakes with 2-piece rotors and a Hellcat-specific 3-mode suspension system that uses Bilstein adaptive shocks. No prices have been announced, but dealers will be able to order the car this fall, and deliveries are scheduled to start early next year. The wide-body appearance package also will be available on a lower-priced Charger, the Scat Pack model. Dodge Charger's U.S. sales fell 4.2% to over 26,700 vehicles through May. FCA assembles the Charger at its Brampton plant in Canada, where FCA spokesman said production will remain status quo. And over at General Motors plans to begin real-world testing of airless tires on a fleet of Chevrolet Bolt electric vehicles this year in Michigan, a state notorious for its degrading roads and potholes. GM and tire supplier Michelin have formed a joint research agreement to develop and validate the tire supplier's unique puncture-proof tire system, or UPTIS, with plans to introduce the tires on passenger vehicles as early as 2024. The tires can support the vehicle without air by using flexible rubber composites with proprietary fiberglass resin that fit on traditional wheels, according to a Michelin source. The design and airless technology allows the UPTIS prototype to eliminate flats and blowouts, increasing safety and reducing the use of raw materials and waste, the company said. Steve Kiefer, Senior Vice President of GM Global Purchasing and Supply Chain, described it as a breakthrough technology that General Motors is excited to partner on with the tire supplier. UPTIS is an ideal fit for propelling the automotive industry into the future and a great example of how our customers benefit when we collaborate and innovate with our supplier partners, he said in a statement. GM, according to Michelin, will be a technical partner on the development of the wheels. The tire supplier will retain the intellectual properties and be able to distribute the wheels to other manufacturers, according to a company spokesman. UPTIS is an evolution of Michelin's airless tires that are available on John Deere lawnmowers and other equipment. The companies announced the partnership at the Movin' On Summit for Sustainable Mobility in Montreal. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.